The big python thinks it's already won. It's wrapped around a struggling animal, coils tightening with every panicked breath. The jungle is quiet, like it agrees this monster is in charge. But just beyond the grass, something is watching the python. Something stronger, faster, and not afraid. Most of the time, a huge python really does act like a final boss. These snakes can grow over 15 to 20 feet long, weigh more than 200 pounds, and are built almost entirely out of muscle. They don't use venom, they don't need it. One explosive strike, one misstep from their victim, and the coils slam shut. Each exhale from the trapped animal gives the snake more room to squeeze. Within minutes, the fight is over. So who on earth would dare challenge that? To answer that, we have to meet 6 animals that can flip the script and turn a python from hunter into a very unlucky snack. Number 6. Tiger. Picture a massive Bengal tiger stepping silently through tall grass. Every muscle is loaded like a spring. A python lies nearby, soaking up heat, confident that nothing touches it here. Wrong. A full-grown tiger weighs 300 to 500 pounds and comes loaded with tools built for breaking big, tough prey, dagger-like canines, thick neck muscles, and paws that hit like sledgehammers with claws. Tigers do sometimes eat snakes, and there's real footage of them wrestling with huge pythons and winning. In a clash, the tiger's biggest advantage is timing. It doesn't let the snake wrap first. It's all about hitting hard and fast, usually aiming for the head or neck. One crushing bite to the skull or a flurry of paw swipes can break bones and tear muscle before the python has time to properly coil. Yes, if the tiger misjudges and gets tangled, things could get scary. A large python can still injure a big cat. But in most realistic encounters, the tiger's power, agility, and brain give it the edge. It can dart in, strike, then leap back out of coil range, repeating until the snake can't fight back. And if you think big cats are the only ones brave enough to challenge a python, wait until you see what happens when the snake meets a living tank. Number 5. Crocodile. Now we move to the water's edge, where another reptile rules. Crocodiles are basically armored missiles with teeth. A big Nile or saltwater crocodile can weigh over 1,000 pounds and slam its jaws shut with thousands of pounds of pressure. Their skin is like bone-plated armor, and their entire body is designed for grabbing, holding, and ripping. Sometimes pythons try their luck, ambushing smaller crocs near the waterline. That can work if the crocodile is young or distracted. But against a large, alert adult, the story flips immediately. If a python lunges, a crocodile can spin and clamp down on the snake's midsection or head. One bite can crush vertebra. The python might try to coil around the croc's body, but those thick scales don't compress easily, and the crocodile has a dirty trick, the death roll. By twisting violently with a locked jaw, a crocodile can literally tear a python into pieces. And even if it doesn't shred the snake, it can simply drag both of them underwater and hold its breath. The python, unlike the crocodile, can't stay down comfortably long. Comparing a python's squeeze to a crocodile's bite is like comparing a rope to a hydraulic press. But if you think raw jaw power is terrifying, wait until you meet a snake that doesn't need muscles to win, because it carries liquid lightning in its fangs.
Number 4. King Cobra. Snake versus snake. No claws, no armor, just speed, accuracy, and chemistry. The king cobra doesn't just eat other snakes, it specializes in them. This long, sleek predator can reach 12 to 18 feet in length, close to many python species, but it doesn't rely on constriction. Its weapon is neurotoxic venom that attacks the nervous system and shuts the body down from the inside. In a showdown, the cobra's plan is simple. Strike first, strike clean. It aims for the python's head or neck, where a deep bite can inject a massive dose of venom. Then, instead of wrestling, the cobra does something very smart. It backs off and waits. The python, no matter how huge, doesn't have venom resistance to a king cobra on that scale. As the toxins spread, its muscles weaken, coordination falls apart, and breathing becomes harder. A snake built to squeeze suddenly can't control its own body. Of course, this is not a no-risk fight. If the cobra miscalculates and the python manages to grab it in a coil while it bites, both animals can end up in serious trouble. There are stories of them actually taking each other out in a kind of morbid tie. But when we're asking who can defeat a python, the king cobra absolutely qualifies. It's like watching a heavyweight wrestler slowly collapse after one perfectly placed punch from a lightweight with a hidden weapon. And if that sounds intense, wait until you see what happens when speed, stealth, and tree climbing skills join the battle. Number 3. Leopard. Leopards are smaller than tigers, but don't let the size fool you. They are some of the boldest big cats on the planet and are absolutely willing to take on large snakes. In parts of Africa and Asia, leopards share territory with big pythons, and occasionally their worlds collide in dramatic ways. There are real cases where leopards have been seen ambushing and defeating large rock pythons. A leopard style is all about surprise. It stalks silently, then explodes into action, aiming straight for the snake's head. The python may reflexively wrap around the leopard's legs or body, but now it's fighting something that can twist, scratch, and bite from multiple angles at once. Leopards have powerful jaws for their size. They regularly drag prey heavier than themselves up trees. So crushing a snake's skull or biting through critical parts of the spine is very achievable. Even if the leopard takes a few hits or gets briefly tangled, its agility lets it roll, claw, and bite until the python's long body becomes a disadvantage instead of an asset. In the end, there are documented cases where the leopard walks away injured but standing, while the python does not. To a hungry leopard, a giant snake is just a weirdly shaped meal. But predators don't always come from the ground. Sometimes the python's biggest problem is something it never even sees coming. Number 2. Eagle. High above the forest, another hunter is watching. Certain eagles are legendary snake specialists. Species like Africa's martial eagle or brown snake eagle and some large Asian eagles regularly attack and eat snakes, including fairly large ones. An eagle's most dangerous weapon isn't just its talons. It's the combination of vision, speed, and angle of attack. From hundreds of feet up, an eagle can spot a snake lying exposed. It folds its wings, dives, and hits at speeds that can exceed 100 miles per hour. The target? Usually the head or upper body. Those talons are like meat hooks. If the eagle pins the python's head or neck to the ground, it can stop the snake from getting a solid bite or a proper coil. Some eagles even lift the snake into the air, letting gravity help weaken it. Dropping a heavy snake from a height is a very effective way to stun or break it. Snake-eating eagles often have scaled, reinforced legs and some resistance to venom, giving them extra protection if the snake does manage a bite. On the ground, the eagle can hop, flap, and reposition faster than the python can turn its entire body. To the python, the attack feels almost unfair. One second, it's sunbathing, the next, it's dangling in the air, gripped by a predator that can fight from above, from the side, and never has to wrap around anything. But our final contender doesn't fly, doesn't stalk from trees, and doesn't meow. It walks on 4 legs, wears dragon armor, and turns blood into a weapon.
Number 1. Komodo dragon. Yes, dragons exist, and they're not friendly. The Komodo dragon is the largest living lizard, found on a few islands in Indonesia. Adults can reach around 10 feet in length and weigh more than 300 pounds, putting them in the same weight class as many big pythons. But unlike pythons, Komodo dragons have legs, speed bursts, claws, and a horrifying bite. Their jaws are lined with serrated teeth,
made for ripping chunks of flesh. For a long time, people thought the secret was just the bacteria in their mouth. We now know they also produce venom that affects blood clotting and blood pressure. Once bitten, many victims grow weaker and weaker as blood loss and shock kick in. So how does that match up against a python? If a python tries to ambush a Komodo dragon, it has a serious problem. The dragon has a low, solid center of gravity and a strong, muscular body. Even if the python manages to throw a few coils around it, the Komodo can slash with its claws, twist violently, and bite into the snake's body. One deep bite can leave long, open wounds, and the venom starts working while the fight is still going. But Komodo dragons don't even need to rush. They're patient. They can bite, back off, and simply follow the injured snake as it weakens. A python that's already used energy on a big meal or a long crawl becomes an easier target. By the time the venom and blood loss do their job, the dragon can move in and feed on an opponent that can barely resist. Imagine a python, usually the hunter king, suddenly realizing it has been ambushed by something just as big, but with claws, toxic saliva, and zero fear. That's why, in a realistic matchup, the Komodo dragon sits at the top of this list. So what does all this tell us? Pythons are not weak, far from it. In their home turf, with surprise on their side, they are terrifyingly effective predators. They crush antelope, monkeys, wild pigs, even the occasional careless crocodile or dog. Most animals give them a wide, respectful distance. But nature doesn't allow any creature to be untouchable. Tigers bring speed, strength, and sharp intelligence. Crocodiles bring armor and jaw power that make bones look like breadsticks. King cobras bring precision strikes and venom that shuts down muscles from the inside. Leopards bring agility and fearless aggression. Eagles bring air superiority and pinpoint attacks from above. And Komodo dragons bring raw brutality mixed with chemical warfare. Each of these animals, in the right place and at the right time, can turn a massive python into prey. It's a reminder that in the wild, strongest doesn't mean invincible. It depends on where you are, who sees who first, who's hungry, who's tired, and who makes the first mistake. Even a 20-foot serpent made of pure muscle can lose everything in a single bad encounter. In the end, the python is both a hunter and a potential meal, and that delicate balance is exactly what keeps the wild world from ever becoming boring.